Trade talks are picking up fast as the Four Nations is coming near a close. A report from Elliotte Friedman last week indicated that activity would very likely start on the 18th, as he did mention Jake Evans, and another reporter on TSN today stated that Montreal may be making some big moves with Evans and Armia, and he had some interesting comments on David Savard. We got to get into all of that, plus Ivan Demidov. His pace, his point pace this year has gotten even crazier than we expected, and I know that seems insane, but it's very true. We also have a note about how Emil Heineman is close to a return. A lot of great stuff coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. Guys, before we get into the video, we're going to set a like goal for this video. We like to do that sometimes, and you guys like hitting like. We love when you guys hit like 750. We'd love to see 750 likes. We hit it last time, and hey, I know it's just a simple click, but it helps us more than you could know. Seriously. Jesse, let's hop into the video. Starting off with a bang here. Our good friend Emil Heineman is back on the ice in Brossard today. He was wearing a blue non-contact jersey, but when asked about it, Martin St. Louis said him being on the ice today, well, that's a good sign that he could be close to returning, and he will be evaluated further during the week. Now, Jesse, I know the Habs' downturn in performance coincided with two things. Emil Heineman getting hit by a car, and Patrik Laine not getting as many points as he did, going on a bit of a cold streak. This right here, to get one of the Habs' most impactful 5v5 players backed up by advanced stats, by the way, is going to be a huge boost for this team coming out of the Four Nations. Even if he's not ready for a week or two, I'm just glad to see him back.
Yeah, was this mostly Heineman here? Just so interesting that we're having this conversation for a rookie, because he's had such a big impact on this team this year, bringing that forechecking, which was really at the crux of what the Montreal Canadiens were doing to be successful. So Jake Evans' running mate is back very soon. The question is, are they going to be able to line up together? Is there going to be some movement kind of before that Saturday's game coming up? We're going to definitely break that down a little bit more coming up, but again, on Heineman's impact on this team, he was leading the team in hits when he got injured. He's still 11th in rookie scoring, which is just absolutely wild. So just phenomenal to have him back, because we know, we got some trades probably coming up pretty soon. And the fact that he is kind of making his way into lineup, for Kent Hughes, he started looking like a part of the future already, but it's definitely going to make things a little bit easier for Kent Hughes if he wants to pull the trigger a little bit sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, him coming back is going to be a huge boost to this team, no matter what line he plays with, because like you said, that forechecking, that shot has looked lethal this season. It's something we knew was his best tool coming into the NHL. As soon as we saw it last year, it was 6 straight games with a goal as soon as he came over to Laval. But yeah, like you said, we'll be talking about some guys who may be on the way out, but fill in some winger roles for this year and next year and into the future. Emil Heineman's right there. And again, I feel like it's crazy because you brought this up, and sometimes you just forget that he is a rookie. You forget this is his first full NHL season. Yeah, he's not like an 18 or 19-year-old or anything, but he's a rookie. So really awesome stuff. Leave some love for Emil Heineman down below in the comments section. But we got to move on to one of our other prospects, and that's Demidov. And look, we talk about him a lot. I know, but for good reason, Jesse. And there was a recent post on Reddit just today from Poob06, and I will link this post down below. Give them the love that they deserve for making this wonderful graphic. My gosh. So there's a lot to break down in this graphic. I'll make it full screen. Well, not full screen, but I'll make it bigger. But Ivan Demidov, if you take his point pace and extrapolate what he's on right now for the rest of the season, he's on pace for 57 points in 67 games. Jesse, that would make him the second best under 23 season ever, behind only Kirill Kaprizov's D+5 season, as you see above. However, since Demidov's been in the top 6, if you take that point pace in just his last 22 games, again, just since he's been full-time back in the top 6, and you extrapolate that over a full season, Jesse, he would be on pace to tie the best under 23 season ever, and that's Kaprizov's, again, D+5, like you see. This is legitimately crazy to me. I mean, the fact that look, we have an absolute gem here. We have a diamond. This guy is going to be a star. Every single stat proves it. The fact that we're talking about under 23 seasons for a 19-year-old as comparables is bananas.
Yeah, we're talking about Nikishin and Kaprizov here, your boy. We're talking about their draft plus 3 and 4 years. And when we're talking about power play time, Demidov is getting half to a third of the power play time that they're getting, which is just absolutely unreal here to still, that's the key place to get the points, to still be able to do what he's doing right now. So, I mean, to be, in the realm of breaking Kaprizov's, under 22 record and have a shot as well for Nikishin's under U23 record is just absolutely phenomenal given the circumstances. He's now tied for 8th in scoring in the KHL just as a whole. So, I mean, he's just continuing to light it up. And you see that the confidence is starting to grow now. It's really, he always kind of knew it, but once you start getting those reps in at that pro level, you see it starting to send to his game where now he already had the skill, but that confidence is really starting to take over.
That's the thing. Like, this dude looks better than he ever has. And who knew that getting a lot more ice time would lead to a lot more confidence, getting used to it, playing with better players as well. The fact that he did what he did with the ice time he was getting originally is crazy. And look, I know we like to crap on Roman Rottenberg at some point, but it sure looks like Demidov's development this year has taken a turn. I mean, who knows what this season would have looked like if he was in the top 6 right from the get-go, but all we can say is, wow, like, this dude is making legitimate history. Again, right now is on pace to have the second best under 23 season ever, the best season by any player under 22, and he's 19. So just, every day we talk about our boy Demigod, every day there's another thing to be talking about. I cannot wait to see him over in Montreal. It's going to make such a big difference. But Jesse, we were talking earlier about filling out this lineup as some people will be coming in and out, and next year we're going to have a lot of forwards going, I'm sure, and Demidov's going to be likely one of those guys coming into the team to replace him. We also got guys like Owen Beck, like Emil Heineman you mentioned, but I wanted to highlight something that Elliot Friedman said. Now, this was last week on the holdouts, opt-ins, and potential trades episode. You can see around the 22-minute marks when they're getting into the Habs and Jake Evans and stuff, but I want to bring up a specific quote he said because it's very applicable for today. He said, "There certainly is that feeling around there that some guys will not return to where they are." Now, we talked about this last week, but he did say, "I did have someone say to me that they think things could slow down while the players are on vacation, and maybe trades happening doesn't happen until the 18th. Well, we are at the 18th, and we're starting to hear trade rumors pick up and up and up as we're heading towards that Thursday final right now with Canada versus the USA. We also had Frankie Corrado on TSN just recently saying, Montreal sellers, they have to be. The Evans thing seems like it probably is inevitable that he moves on somewhere. The versatility will be really enticing, and Armia's worked so well with him, penalty kill 5-on-5. He's really found his game. I think both these guys can bring back something that helps your organization." So Jesse, as we're now at the 18th, we're at the other end of the Four Nations. Nothing huge has really happened yet. There's been a few little minor things here and there, but with Evans, when it comes to Evans and Armia, Habs are starting to be back at practice now. I guess it'd be weird to come back to practice and get shipped out right away. But again, as soon as we're hitting this point now, we're hearing people talk more and more about Montreal, more and more about Evans and Armia. And again, to hear even someone like Frankie, I know he's not necessarily like a big time insider. But he is very much connected to the team. To hear that Evans going is inevitable. Even Friedman saying that last week. I'm really thinking a big move is imminent at this point.
Yeah, it's trade watch time. We're getting down 17 days until the deadline arrives here. I'm having Armia or Savard as those first trades. I'm holding out hope that we can figure out something with Evans, but for sure Armia and Savard are going out. If I had to bet, I would say Armia going out first because we're going to get some value, but he's not necessarily as vital to the team still as Savard is. I think Ken Hughes is going to kind of hold out right into that trade deadline, knowing the value that Savard still provides to this team. We're 6 points out. It's definitely going to take a little bit of a run to get in. Not out of the realm of possibility. We've seen what this team is capable of, but I think any kind of preparation, those are the two first moves that I see happening. Josh, what is the first move, in your opinion, that Kent Hughes is making coming up to this trade deadline?
First move, first domino to fall. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little boring with this answer. Then I'm gonna give you a more fun answer. So my first boring answer is something to bolster the AHL because I think that's gonna be I think he's gonna have a bigger move set up, but he wants to have someone ready to bolster the AHL before we have that big move set up so that Owen Beck or whoever can fill in. So that's my boring answer. My real fun answer when it comes to the NHL players, I'm just going to straight up say it. I'm going to say Evans is the first domino to fall. I think you're absolutely right that it very well could be Armia, Savard, and maybe if we're talking about likelihood, yeah, I think probably, but I think teams are calling on Jake Evans, and we've seen Hughes is no stranger to pull the trigger on a move if he feels this is a great move for us. He's not going to squeeze every single dime out of it if he thinks he's getting a fair shake. So that's my thought. But I want to bounce this back to you because Frankie also did say something on his TSN segment with Jay Onrait saying, all right, look, David Savard, Frankie actually doesn't seem to think Savard's going to get moved because he doesn't believe the value you'll get back in a Savard trade or what teams will pay you for him is going to be worth it versus keeping him with this young core until the end of the season. What do you think about that? Because we're seeing Savard listed really high on a lot of like TSN's trade bait board. I think he's like third. He's one of those big names. Do you see Savard being one of those guys who Montreal will actually get more value back than some people may think?
Yeah, and because we've seen some other guys like Cody Ceci again on the right-hand shot department for defensemen, it's slim picking. So because Savard, for sure, he's not having his best year. We're not selling as high as we potentially could, but because the market isn't huge, I do think that we will be able to get a fair return. We have heard in the past, we have reported on the first round pick Savard that has been there. I will kind of agree that with Frankie and Slipit that we're not going to get that first for Savard right now. Yeah. His game isn't quite there at this point, but we do know what he can provide for this team. But if I'm Kent Hughes, like it's a fair point. Like it's really a second round pick or a bust. I don't know if Kent Hughes is really taking a third round pick for Savard. I have to feel like the market, he's a player that's in demand, especially going into the playoffs. I think he fits perfectly for what a lot of teams really need. They're going to recognize that value. There's tons of teams that feel like they have a shot, and that's what's really going to raise the return for Kent Hughes here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Kent does. Like, we get a lot of people complimenting Kent Hughes' style, even Friedman saying, hey, Kent Hughes, he's ready to do something. He wants to make hockey trades. These trades are going to come. Eventually, I feel like I want to promise it. I can't, but I'd like to because it just feels like it's inevitable. But let us know what you guys think down below. Now that we've hit February 18th, players are back to practice. Things are starting to pick up. They're off vacation. Do you see a big move coming? Friedman certainly seemed to think so, and I think we're in for something pretty big. But that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.